Welcome back to Everyday English Podcast, where we help you speak up, not just listen. Have you ever sat in a meeting, clicked unmute to say something, but then quickly clicked mute again because you lost your chance? You are staring at 4 faces on the screen. They are talking so fast. You have a great idea, but you feel like a ghost, invisible. You just can't find the gap to jump in.
I call this the goldfish effect. When I first moved to the UK to work, I would open my mouth to speak, no sound would come out, and then I'd just close it again. It was humiliating.
Today, we're fixing that. You're going to learn the 3 whistle phrases that act like a referee's whistle, stopping the traffic so everyone listens to you.
That goldfish effect is real, Sarah. It used to happen to me constantly. I remember my first month working in an office in London. I had all the vocabulary. I knew my grammar was good. I had prepared my notes. But the speed of the conversation was just overwhelming.
It is not just the speed, is it? It is the rhythm. English conversation, especially in a business setting, can feel like a game of double dutch. Do you know that jump rope game where 2 ropes are turning at the same time?
Exactly. You are standing on the edge, rocking back and forth, waiting for the perfect moment to jump in without getting hit by the rope. But in a meeting, while you are waiting for that perfect pause, the topic changes, and then your idea is too late.
And this is even worse online. On Zoom or Teams, there's that tiny audio delay, maybe half a second. So you wait for a silence, you start to speak, but at the exact same millisecond, someone else speaks.
And because you are polite and perhaps a bit nervous, you stop immediately. You say, "Oh, sorry, go ahead." And then you stay silent for the next 20 minutes.
We have all been there. The problem is not your English level. The problem is your entry strategy. You are trying to enter a fast-moving highway from a standing start. Today, we are going to give you the on-ramp.
We are going to break this down into 3 parts. First, the nonverbal signals, what you do with your body before you speak. Second, the gateway sounds, the noises native speakers make to claim the floor. And third, the actual phrases, the words that stop people talking.
Let's start with the body. Tom, when you were struggling with the goldfish effect, what were you doing with your hands?
Nothing. I was sitting perfectly still. I thought that if I sat still and looked intelligent, people would eventually ask me for my opinion.
And did they?
Never. In many English-speaking cultures, silence does not mean you're thinking deeply. It often just means you have nothing to say. If you want to speak, you have to physically signal it first.
Especially on video calls. If you just unmute and start talking, it feels like an interruption. But if you use your hands, it is a signal. But we don't mean raising your hand like a school student.
No, definitely not. Do not raise your hand high in the air. That looks very junior. It looks like you are asking for permission. In a business meeting, you are an equal professional. You do not ask for permission, you take the floor.
So what is the gesture? It is the pen lift or the finger float?
The pen lift is my favorite. You are holding a pen. When you want to speak, you simply lift the hand holding the pen to about chest height. You don't wave it, you just lift it. It catches the eye of the person speaking.
It creates a visual disruption. The speaker sees movement in their peripheral vision. They might not stop immediately, but their brain registers that you are ready.
And if you are not holding a pen, you use the finger float. You just lift your index finger slightly. Again, chest height, not up by your face. It is subtle. It says, "I have a point to add."
Try this now, wherever you are listening. Imagine you are in a meeting. Lift your hand slightly. Do you feel that shift in energy? You are physically preparing to throw your voice into the room.
But the hand is only half the signal. The other half is the breath. This is something native speakers do constantly, and learners almost never do.
The audible inhale.
Right. Before I speak, I take a sharp, slightly loud breath in through my mouth. It sounds like a reverse gasp.
It sounds like this.
Exactly. When you do that loudly enough, it triggers a reaction in the other people. Their brains hear that intake of breath, and they know someone is about to speak.
It is a biological signal. If you watch a group of friends talking, you will see them doing this. They lean forward, they inhale, and then they speak. If you sit back, exhale, and wait for silence, you will wait forever.
So that is step 1, the pre-verbal signal. Lean in, lift the hand slightly, and take that sharp breath. You are establishing presence before you say a single word.
Now let's move to step 2, the gateway sounds. This is the secret weapon for avoiding the goldfish effect.
The mistake most learners make is trying to start with a perfect sentence. They wait for a pause, and then they try to launch a grammatically complex thought like, I believe that the quarterly figures are incorrect.
That is too heavy. It takes too much cognitive processing time. By the time you form that sentence, the moment is gone. Instead, you need a noise that holds the door open. We call these gateway sounds. They are just noises or very short words that reserve your spot in the conversation. The most common ones are so, well, and the famous
But it is not a hesitant It is not the of confusion. It is the of authority. It is long, loud, and low.
Listen to the difference. A confused student says, is it? A confident manager says, actually, I think...
Do you hear that?
It is a flat tone. It acts like a siren. It tells everyone, stop talking, I am taking over now. You can also use well, but drag it out. Well, I am not sure about that. Or so. So, looking at the next point. These sounds buy you time. You make the sound first. Well, now you have everyone's attention. Now you have the floor. You have bought yourself 2 seconds to think of your actual sentence. This was a game changer for me. I stopped trying to have the perfect sentence ready. I just focused on making the noise. Once I made the noise, I had to speak. It forced me to be brave. It is like putting your foot in the door so it cannot close. Exactly. So step 1, hand and breath. Step 2, gateway sound. Well, now you are ready for step 3, the phrase itself. We call these the whistle phrases because, like a referee in a sports game, they blow the whistle and stop the play. You need phrases that are polite but firm. And you need to memorize them. You cannot be translating these from your native language in the moment. They need to be automatic, like a reflex. Let's learn 3 of them. We will start with the soft entry. This is for when the atmosphere is friendly and you just want to add something. The phrase is, can I just come in here for a second? Can I just come in here for a second? Notice the word just. We use just all the time in British and American English to soften a request. It makes you sound less aggressive. If you say, can I speak? It sounds very intense. Can I just come in sounds helpful. It sounds like you are part of the team. Also, look at the verb come in. We often visualize conversation as a room or a flow of traffic. You are coming in or jumping in. Another variation of this is, can I just jump in for a second? Jump in is slightly more informal, but perfectly acceptable in 90% of business meetings. So that is your first whistle phrase. Practice saying it fast. Can I just jump in? You don't wait for an answer. You say it over the top of the other person. Wait, over the top? You mean while they are still talking? Yes, this is the scary part for learners. You have to start speaking this phrase while the other person is finishing their sentence. You overlap them. That feels rude to many people. It feels rude, but in a dynamic brainstorming session, it is normal. You overlap the last 2 words of their sentence. As they are saying, and that is why the budget is low, you are already saying, can I just jump in here? If you wait for total silence, someone else will jump in. The overlap is the connection point. Our second whistle phrase is for when you want to agree and add more detail. We call this the piggyback phrase. To piggyback means to ride on someone's back. In business English, it means to build on someone else's idea. The phrase is, just to piggyback on what Sarah said. Just to piggyback on what Sarah said. I love this one because it makes you sound like a great listener. You are validating the previous speaker. It is very hard for people to be angry at you for interrupting if you start by mentioning their name. If you interrupt me to say, Tom is wrong, I will fight you. If you interrupt me to say, building on what Tom said, I will shut up and listen because I want to hear you agree with me. That is a great psychological trick. So the structure is gateway sound plus piggyback phrase. Well, just to piggyback on what Sarah said, I think we need to consider the timeline. It flows perfectly. It turns an interruption into a contribution. And what about the third one, the urgent one? This is for when the conversation is moving in the wrong direction and you need to stop it, the hard stop, but still professional. Of course, the phrase is, before we move on, I think it is important to mention. Before we move on. This is powerful. It signals that the group is moving too fast and leaving something behind. It forces the chair of the meeting to pause. It is assertive. You are taking control of the agenda. Sorry, can I just stop you there? Before we move on, we haven't discussed the cost. Notice Sarah used sorry there. Sorry, can I just stop you there? This is very British. We use sorry as a weapon. It doesn't mean I apologize. It means listen to me. Exactly. It is a polite way of forcing a pause. We are going to practice these in a simulation in a moment. But first, if you are listening to this and thinking, I need to practice this every single day, then you should hit the subscribe button for the Everyday English podcast. We don't just talk about grammar rules. We break down the real psychological barriers, like the goldfish effect, that stop you from using the English you already know. Subscribe now so you don't miss our next episode, where we will talk about how to disagree with your boss without getting fired. You definitely need the notification for that one. Okay, Tom, are you ready for the simulation?
I am ready. Here is how this works. Sarah and I are going to have a very fast, slightly boring conversation about organizing an office party.
We are going to talk over each other. We are going to talk fast. Your job as the listener is to find a gap.
We want you to physically do this. Wherever you are, in the car, in the kitchen, wait for a moment where we take a breath. Use your preverbal signal, hand up, make your gateway sound, wheel, and try to say, can I just jump in?
You have to be loud. You have to be faster than us. Are you ready?
Let's go.
So honestly, looking at the venue options, I think the hotel is just too expensive for what we need, don't you think?
It is expensive, but the location is perfect. I mean, if we go with the community center, we have to do all the catering ourselves, and nobody has time for that.
That is true, but the budget was cut by 10% last week. We cannot ignore that. If we spend it all on the venue, what about the drinks?
The drinks are a separate issue. The CEO said he wants a premium feel. You can't get a premium feel in a community center with plastic cups.
Plastic cups are fine if the wine is good. I really think we are overthinking the location. We should focus on the guest list first.
But the guest list depends on the capacity. We can't invite 100 people if the room only holds 50.
Okay, but realistically, only 70% of people show up to these things anyway.
That is a risk, though. Imagine if everyone shows up and we are standing there like sardines.
Okay, pause. How did you do? Did you find a moment?
It was stressful, right? We were not leaving many pauses.
If you waited for a full silence, you probably never spoke.
There was a moment when Sarah said plastic cups. She took a breath right after that. That was your window.
Or when Tom said sardines, he laughed a little bit. That laugh is a gap.
In that gap, you should have said, can I just jump in?
Let's try it one more time. This time we will leave one slightly bigger gap, but we won't tell you where it is. You have to listen for it.
Ready? Topic, lunch options. Go.
I am so tired of sandwiches. We get sandwiches every single meeting.
It is easy, though. It's cheap, it's clean. If we get pizza, it's messy.
It doesn't have to be pizza. We could do sushi.
Sushi is risky. Not everyone eats raw fish. Dave is allergic to shellfish. And honestly, sushi is expensive if you want the good stuff.
Okay, did you catch it?
After I mentioned Dave's allergy, Sarah didn't reply immediately. That was the golden gap.
If you used your gateway sound, wheel, right after Tom said shellfish, you would have stopped him from talking about the price.
This is the skill. It is not about English words. It is about English music. You have to hear the rhythm and jump between the beats.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This feels aggressive. In my culture, this is rude.
I hear this all the time. I have clients from Japan, from Finland, from cultures that value pauses and silence. They feel physical pain when they have to interrupt like this.
But you have to remember, language is also culture. In English-speaking business culture, especially in the US and UK, interrupting, if done politely, is seen as engagement.
Yes, if you sit silent for an hour, your boss doesn't think, oh, they are so respectful. They think, oh, they have no ideas.
That is harsh, but true. Active participation is a metric.
When you interrupt politely using, "Can I just jump in?" you are actually helping the meeting. You are bringing energy. You are showing you care about the project.
So don't view it as being rude. View it as being professional. You are doing your job by sharing your ideas.
And remember, the other people in the meeting are used to it. They won't be offended. They will just stop talking and listen to you.
And if you start speaking and they don't stop, what if you crash?
That happens. You say, "Can I just?" and they keep talking.
In that case, you have two choices. You can stop and wait for the next gap, or if you are feeling brave, you repeat the phrase slightly louder.
"Sorry, can I just jump in for a second?"
Repeating the first few words is a very natural signal. It shows you are not giving up.
But for your first try, just wait for the next gap. Don't stress yourself out too much.
Let's recap your toolkit for today. You have the pre-verbal signal, hand up, breath in.
You have the gateway sounds, the long so, the low
And you have the 3 whistle phrases.
Can I just jump in?
Just to piggyback on that, before we move on, and remember the golden rule, don't wait for silence. Look for the slowdown. Look for the breath. That is your green light. We have a challenge for you this week. We want you to try this, not the whole thing, just one part. In your next meeting, or even a casual conversation with a group of friends, I want you to use a gateway sound.
You don't even have to interrupt with a big idea. Just practice making the noise. When someone finishes a point, lean in, take a breath, and say, "Yeah, well," or "so."
Even if you just agree with them afterwards, just practice claiming the floor. See how it feels to have everyone look at you.
Once you get comfortable with the attention, the words will come easier.
Conquer the goldfish effect. Open your mouth, make a sound, and let your voice be heard.
Thank you for listening to Everyday English Podcast.
Go out there and jump in. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.